till I find what it is I've been looking for. In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep, through the jungle of doubt, to the river so deep. I know I'm searching for something, something so undefined, that it can only be seen by the eyes of the blind. In the middle of the night, I've never been a spiritual man. Baptized by fire, I wade into the river that is running to the promised land. In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep, through the desert of the truth, to the river so deep. We all end in the ocean, we all start in the streams. We're all carried along by the river of dreams. In the middle of the night, in the middle of it, I go walking in the middle of it. 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 In the middle of it. surrender, what a night. I felt the rush like a rolling ball of thunder, spinning my head around and taking my body under. Oh my, got a funny feeling when she walked in the room. Hey my, 'cause I recall it ended much too soon. What a night. Why did it take so long to see the light? Seems so wrong, but now it seems so right. What a lady, what a night. I felt the rush like a rolling ball of thunder, spinning my head around and taking my body under. What a Come out, Virginia, don't let me wait. You Catholic girls start much too late. Oh, but sooner or later it comes down to fate. I might as well will be the one. Well, they showed you a statue, told you to pray. They built you a temple and locked you away. Ah, but they never told you the price that you pay for things that you might have done. Only the good die young. That's what I said. Only the good die young. Only the good die young. You might have heard I run with a dangerous crowd. We ain't too pretty, we ain't too proud. We might be laughing a bit too loud. Oh, but that never hurt no one. So come on, Virginia, show me a sign. Send up a signal, I'll throw you a line. Stained glass curtain you're hiding behind never lets in the sun. Darling, only the good die young. Whoa, 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 whoa. I tell you, only the good die young. Only the good die young. You got a nice white dress and a party on your confirmation. You got a brand new soul, and a cross of gold. But Virginia, they didn't give you quite enough information. You didn't count on me when you were counting on your rosary. Oh, 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 and they say there's a heaven for those who will wait. And some say it's better, but I say it ain't. I'd rather laugh with the sinners and cry with the saints. The sinners are much more fun. You know that only the good die young. Oh, baby, I tell you, only the good die young. Only the good die young. Said your mother told you all that I could give you was a reputation. sleep. Through the valley of fear, to a river so deep. I'm in searching for something taken out of my soul, something I can never lose, something somebody stole. I don't know why I go walking at night, but now I'm tired and I don't want to walk anymore. Hope it doesn't take the rest of my life until I find what it is I've been looking for. In the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep, through the jungle of doubt, to the river so deep. I know I'm searching for something, something so undefined, that it can only be seen by the eyes of the blind. In the middle of the night.
Gathering. I think Pete would be quite astounded. My name is Sandy Coffey, and I have the great honor to take you through today's memorial service. In order to do so, may I ask and remind you to turn your cell phones off, because I always say phones closed, hearts open. And now, can you all be upstanding for Ellie, for Lizzie, for Georgie, and for Howard? You may be seated. On behalf of the family, thank you for coming to share your grief and your love, and to be here for Ellie and Lizzie and Georgie and Howard and their family. And for Pete Bain, Peaches, as he's commonly known. Pete Bain was an extraordinary person. I want to say that he is an extraordinary person because it is difficult to talk about him in the past. Some people are just born radically different to the rest of us Muppets. They have a gravitational pull, the kind of presence that makes us better just by being with them, especially when they give you a cheeky wink with those blue-eyed smiles and a heart full of love. He was a modern-day legend. He was one of a kind. He reveled in the realm of excitement, and he was carpe diem personified. He stretched his life and his love of life more than most. He was both meticulous and mischievous. Pete Bain knew how to make moments extraordinary. He knew how to be a good friend, a brother, good father, husband, and protector. In preparation for today, a few of his friends have taken time to pen a few words, and there have been a gazillion messages, and on behalf of Ali and the girls, they want to say thank you. And St. Andrew's College is flying their flag at half-mast today. Uncle Don Thornton, who has known Pete and Sony, I didn't know that was your nickname, Pete and Sony since before their wedding, and had the honor of driving you to their wedding. He says, it's that infectious laugh. It's the love of the sea, a big man with a big presence, always so welcoming and fun to be with. There was never a bad moment. Don calls Pete the brother that he never had. Steve Riley says, Pete was a friend, a mentor, a true gentleman. He was all of that and more, a very good trusted golfing companion, always available to sneak off from Tertia at work to smack a nut. On the golf course, where we spent some of our best hours together, Pete's character shone the brightest. He played with grace, with patience, and a sense of humor that could steady the most frustrated golfers. And even though I often played so badly, he always said I played well. Because Peter believed in next rounds, new chances, fresh starts, and hope for tomorrow. Gavin de Saranay had this to say about his Moscow mule friend. He believes that what makes a good friendship is a mutual love of causing a huge amount of cuck and the ability to make alcoholic drinks disappear like magic. Pete used to say this a lot. Are you a quick settler or an 1820 settler? Followed by a big welcome smile with, come on in, brew. Even though on day one of their friendship, he gave Gavin the gate code to an untrusting potential friend. I'm sure Gavin and others will regale you this evening with a couple of St. Francis stories. You changed the gate codes, good. Steve Schultz shares his thoughts. He says, he changed the way that I live my life. He was paddle on a Monday, tennis for Tuesday, golf on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and weekends were for cycling and walking on the beach, and then more golf and more tennis. All of this whilst he floored and carpeted the world. He was a machine. He was one of the highest caliber, and what I will miss most is his unedited outbursts of laughter. So, Pistol Pete, I love you, my brother, and see you on the other side where I will beat you at singles tennis. Thank you for sharing those memories. Today, we are also going to hear from Pete's brother Howard, who has come in from the United States, and then very close and good friend Strat, and then Tertia from Belgrove and Snell, Snell, and then from Georgie, Lizzie, and then Ali. After the memorial, Ali, Lizzie, and Georgie and the immediate family will leave first down the hall to the parking lot and then immediately go to Algoa Flying Club, where we will all get together and raise a few glasses to Pete Bain. As human beings, we are hardwired for certainty, for answers, for clarity. We seek to understand how and why things happen, because answers ground us. We crave predictability and stability because it gives us comfort and safety, and the illusion of control, which of course we don't have. And then, from nowhere, something unfathomable happens, and we are left bewildered, scrambling to make sense of it. We are left perplexed and deeply heartbroken. How can this be? How can it be that Pete Bain is no longer with us? It's incomprehensible and it makes no sense. And of this, there are no answers. There is no understanding, there is no reason, and there may never be, and we are left undone. But the one thing we do know and we can make sense of is how deeply Pete is loved. How much everybody adored being friends with him because we all wanted to be in his orbit. Because man, oh man, that orbit was wonderful. So right now, I would invite you all just to close your eyes. If you are sitting next to a loved one, take their hand and squeeze it. And then recall a moment, an experience, a laughter, a conversation that you might have had with Pete Bain. Reach out to that memory and bring it into this room. Let your heart fill up with those memories, and with that grief and with those memories, let's channel that all into love. And then let's send all that love to Ali and Georgie and Lizzie and Pete's families so that their hearts have enough love forever. Let's fill them up with every single second of that love and those memories. And then open your eyes. This room is full of Pete's essence. I'd now like to invite up Howard, Pete's brother, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Wow, what a crowd. I'm not surprised, actually, knowing Peter. Um, it's a pleasure to be here. And as I was introduced, I am currently now living in California and have been for a while. But we were both PE boys. We were both born here. And I want to tell you a few stories of us growing up, because maybe some of you don't know those ones and that insight. Um, I Peter was born. We both eight eight uh, 8 years apart, so he was sort of a bit of a surprise, and was was born in the PE Provincial Hospital. We both were, and it was a bit of a surprise for me because 1 week before he was born, I got chickenpox and was put into quarantine for 3 weeks. So I never got to see Peter until he was quite old, 3 weeks old. We lived in Short Road, Walmer, 9 Short Road, in a house with a garden which was beautifully tended and built by our mom, Patricia Bain. And she made it into a paradise with jacarandas and hibiscus all over. We had many, many neighbors, and I'm not going to go into mentioning or try to mention because I'll probably leave someone out. But many of the neighbors, some of them are here today, but others have sent condolences. And for that, I really thank you all. And it, thank you for making that contribution. My father, uh, John Bain, he was a sport shop owner, John Bain Sports. And it was located down in at the end or head of Main Street, opposite the Mayor's Garden. And there used to be, I'm not sure if it's still there, a statue of Queen Victoria. um, my father was a fishing springbuck angler, and he was very proud of that. So fishing was in his blood. Um, he and Leighton Hewlett started a fishing camp. Leighton Hewlett was a small engine pilot, and he flew around looking for a location and found a lot of sand dunes. So he bought up all these sand dunes and established a small fishing camp. And Leighton wanted to introduce his fishing camp to the Port Elizabeth angling community. So my father was invited along, and we all went along as well. Now, in those days, and this place was called Cape St. Francis. You might have heard of it. Uh, in those days, getting to Cape St. Francis was not as easy as it is today. In fact, I can remember taking an ox wagon or a donkey cart to get over the sand. And at some point with the ox wagon had an angle through the sand dunes, and we boys would climb over the sand dunes and meet the oxen on the other side. It's something that is stuck in my memory. We had 4 rondavels located in amongst the sand dunes, and I think the bits and pieces of the rondavels are still there as part of the fishing camp. Um, we then, after spending maybe 2 years going backwards and forwards to the fishing camp, built our own 2 rondavels on a sand dune just above the fishing camp. It wasn't many rondavels around. Leighton Hewlett hadn't really got going, and we were able to choose the sand dunes with the best view. Today, that 2 rondavels has been beautifully renovated, and I'm looking forward to seeing the latest edition, which I haven't seen, by Alison and Peter. When we built the 2 rondavels, it was a primitive open plan. There were a kitchen and the rondavels, and our mom called it camping in luxury. So one of the things that uh, is important to understand is that both Peter and I had no interest in fishing. This disappointed our father somewhat, but it was partly his fault because he had a ski boat and he used to take us out frequently, and both of us got violently seasick. So fishing was not on our agenda. Both of us went to school here in Port Elizabeth. My mother was a strong person and very anti-apartheid of the government at that time, who had a Christian national education program in the public schools. So she was convinced that we were not going to be subject to that, and we were sent to private schools, both of us, which was a privilege. One was St. George's, and then after that, St. Andrew's. And today, as it was mentioned before, the flags at St. Andrews are flying half-mast in Peter's honor. Peter and I, as I said before, are 8 years apart. And so we were only in the same school for 1 year. And that's when I was in the sixth form at St. George's, and he was in Sub A. Now, my daughter, Julia, came to Port Elizabeth with me for an occasion, and I took her to St. George's, where at that time Allison was 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 the student. Not Allison. Lizzie was a student, and we were wandering around looking at pictures, and we found the class photo where both of us were at the school in the same time. And so we were looking at finding who was who, and Peter was so obvious because he was in Sub A. He was a small kid at that time, really thin, but had a shock of blonde hair that looked like a halo in the Sub A row. We used to call him, I had a nickname for him, Vitkop. Um, and that fit extremely well. Um, I also called him White Rat. Um, so it was either Vitcorp or White Rat. Actually, Water Rat would have been more appropriate because Peter was such a natural in the water. Um, so I taught him a number of things. One was to water ski on the Crom River, and within 1 day, he was on one ski, dropping the other ski. I also taught him to surf in the Cape St. Francis waves. And together with Neville Hewlett, who is a very good friend of his and is not, unfortunately, here today, he is shown on a what we called Blue Job, which was a surfboard which my father made. And he was like 5 years old with a foam life jacket round his tummy. And I still see that as he was learning to surf. He quickly became a very good surfer and much better than me. Now, I didn't teach him to sail, but he was a natural. And I remember on New Year's Day, him winning the Dabchick sailing race. And also, that was on the Crom River. And later on, Hobie cats became very popular in the ocean. And he was really good at using the Hobie cat. I also taught him to drive, and he was only 10 years old. This was because in those days, Cape St. Francis had a huge beach, which it doesn't sadly have now. And we used to go up and down in the beach buggy, and he used to excel at doing little wheelies on the soft sand, on the hard sand, when it was low tide. He also was quite good at the beach buggy, and we used to at New Year's have a competition amongst all the beach buggies, and he was good at going on the Wall of Death, which was a huge sand dune. And that sand dune actually was above, if people know Cape St. Francis, the launching site. Um, Today, all those sand dunes are now houses, but in those days, there was a lot of sand, and he excelled on the Wall of Death. He really liked that a lot. So it was quite a natural that he would, after all this water experience, do his national service in the Navy, where he became a Navy diver. Now, I think he looked at the Navy more as a holiday camp because what he did is he dived for krief, he dived for oysters, and he dived for pelimun. And to this day, uh, at Cape St. Francis especially, we don't have any krief. I know he used to dive for oysters, and when it was legal, pelimun as well. I would come back from the States to visit him, and he would immediately throw a wetsuit at me, and we'd go and find some pelimun. So moving on, we also, as we were growing up, had dogs in the family. And the dog of choice for us was the boxer dog. And we ended up having 5, and they were all called Bumble. So we had Bumble 1, Bumble 2, etc., Bumble 5. The funny thing about Bumble is I was just telling the family, because they also had one Bumble, and then they said, no, we've had enough Bumbles. That the original Bumble was taken from a child's book about a dog, but the dog was a small little white fluffy Pekingese, so nothing like a boxer. But we liked the name, so we stuck with Bumble. So Peter had trouble at school with grades, and my mother used to come to me wailing and say, "What are we going to do with Peter?" And I always used to say, "Don't worry, Peter has personality, and that is far more important than grades." And look what's happened. He has gone to school, uh, the builder's school, and from there to Murray and Stewart, and from there he's built up the flooring business of Belgrove and Snell. Initially, he started there um, as an intern, but he so impressed them that he was able to rise in the ranks, and now he is the proud owner of a wonderful uh, flooring company with beautiful and very talented people and highest quality in Eastern Province. Now, the other thing that stuck in my mind is one of the things that I also taught him was to ski, snow ski. Now, how do you do that in Port Elizabeth? Well, we at that time were living, my family, in Geneva, Switzerland. And he came to visit during the winter, so that's January, February. And we set him up in a ski chalet, small room, and rented a pair of skis and gave him a ski school ticket. And he was there for 3 weeks. So We came back at the end of 3 weeks looking for him. He wasn't around. So we went into a bar in the chalet and we met someone and he said, "Do you know this Peter Bain?" And I said, "Oh, the surfer." Yeah. He said he didn't even know how to slide his bottom on the snow when he started. And he said, now the reason he isn't here, he's made buddies with all the ski instructors and they're off on a black run, which is, as some of you might know, one of the steepest runs that you can do in skiing. So he really took to skiing as well. I don't know how much practice he had, but from time to time, I think they did go to the Drakensberg and do a little bit of skiing in South Africa. The other thing about him that I wanted to mention is he's not really a city boy. And so when he was with us in Geneva, we sent him off to Paris on a train and said, go and look at the Louvre, get some education, and look at the Eiffel Tower. And he came back and said, meh, I didn't really like any of that stuff. But he said, what I did find was camembert cheese. And that has been something that he has had with him for a long time. In fact, in the fridge today, there was a wedge of camembert cheese. He used to ask me when I was coming back to visit him if I could bring a roll of camembert cheese back from Paris, which I would do. You start off the trip when the camembert is nice and hard, but in a plane, and it takes 10 hours at least, by the time you get to the end of the airport, the whole plane smells of camembert. He ate it anyway. He loved it. So we were pretty much in constant touch with each other, even though we were a continent apart. But we really respected each other, and he was a very good brother to me and a good friend. So I have to say at this point, goodbye, Witko. Thanks for being a loving brother, but more importantly, he was a wonderful husband to Alison and a wonderful father to Lizzie and Georgie. So at this point, I'll conclude by saying, tot ziens, Boet, alles van die beste.
Got a call from an old friend, we used to be real close. Got a call from an old friend, we used to be real close. The American way, said he couldn't go on the American way. Closed the shop, sold a house, bought a ticket to the West Coast. Closed the shop, sold a house, bought a ticket to the West Coast. Now he gives them a stand-up routine in L.A. Now he gives them a stand-up routine in L.A. I don't need you to worry for me, 'cause I'm all right. I don't want you to tell me it's time to come home. I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life. Go ahead with your own life, leave me alone. Never said you had to offer me a second chance. I never said I was a victim of circumstance. I still belong. Don't get me wrong. And you can speak your mind, but not on my time. They will tell you you can't sleep alone in a strange place. Then they'll tell you you can't sleep with somebody else. I'm alright. I don't want you to tell me it's time to come home. I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life. Go ahead with your own life, leave me alone. I never said you had to offer me a second chance. I never said I was a victim of circumstance. I still belong. Don't get me wrong. You can speak your mind, but not on my time. I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life. Go ahead with your own life, leave me alone. Keep it to yourself, it's my life. Keep it to yourself, it's my life. Oh, what a night. Late December back in '63. What a very special time for me. As I remember, what a night. Oh, what a night. You know, I didn't even know her name, but I was never gonna be the same. What a lady, what a night. Oh, I got a funny feeling when she walked in the room. Hey, as I recall, it ended much too soon. What a night. Hypnotizing, mesmerizing me. She was everything I dreamed she'd be. Sweet surrender, what a night. I felt the rush like a rolling ball of thunder, spinning my head around and taking my body under. Oh, I got a funny feeling when she walked in the room. Hey, as I recall, it ended much too soon. What a night. Why did it take so long to see the light? Seems so wrong, but now it seems so right. What a lady, what a night. I felt the rush like a rolling ball of thunder, spinning my head around and taking my body under. Come out, Virginia, don't let me wait. Catholic girls start much too late. Oh, but sooner or later it comes down to fate. I might as well be the one. Well, they showed you a statue, told you signal, I'll throw you the line. Stained glass curtain you're hiding behind never lets in the sun. Darling, only the good die young. Whoa, 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 whoa. I tell you, only the good die young. Only the good die young. You got a nice white dress and a party on your confirmation. You got a brand new soul, and a cross of gold. But Virginia, they didn't give you quite enough information. You didn't count on me when you were counting on your rosary. Oh, 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 and they say there's a heaven for those who will wait. And some say it's better, but I say it ain't. I'd rather laugh with the sinners and cry with the saints. The sinners are much more fun. You know that only the good die young. Oh, baby, I tell you, only the good die young. Only the good die young. Said your mother told you all that I could give you was a reputation. Oh, she never cared for me. But did she ever say a prayer for me? Oh, 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 come out, come out, come out. Virginia, don't let me wait. You Catholic girls start much too late. Sooner or later it comes down to fate. I might as well be the one. You know that only the good die young. Tell you, baby, you know that only the good die young. Only the good die young. Only the good, only the good die young.
It's finished. Okay. Sorry, there's a bit of confusion in the front. What amazing footage. What a wild, free existence and iconic since Francis. So next up is Strat. For those of you who don't know him, he's a very old and good friend. Not very old, you know, old good friend of Pete's. And I said, how do you want me to introduce you? And this is what he said. I first met Pete and Sony and I went back to him and I said, are you sure it's Sony? Because I didn't know what he meant. He's like, yes, it's Sony. I said, spelt like Sony. He said, yeah. I first met Pete and Sony at a home group back in 2006. We are brothers from another mother, and humor and a lust for life is what is the common denominator. So Pete is commonly referred to me as Stratty or Strap-on. For sensitive ears, please know that what I share is from a place of love.
Guys, does anyone want to stand or go to the loo quickly? Just just a sip of water, whatever you want to. Let's give it a minute, yeah. Can you hear me at the back? Okay, we got a loo taker there. We'll give him a sec. Girls look beautiful, eh? Very proud of you. Oh, yeah, there are more chairs up the front if anyone would like to sit. Okay. All right. So, guys, I'd like to think if Pete was standing here now, this is how I'd want it. So, I can just picture Pete walking into the Lennox Hall today and whispering louder than he should. Geez, Brew, why does everybody look so down in this place? Is this a funeral? And he would be giggling, big white pearlers on display for all to see. We met the Bains in 2006. I was fresh meat from the UK, liberal and pious. Little did we know what was in store for us. The Bains and the Strats, as we would be affectionately known, became mates. From the early days, I wondered why Peach had not chosen to be a plumber, as he loved to wear baggies and show his crack. Or alternatively, the poster boy for a Turkish rug manufacturer with the locks of hair that flowed from his back. But selling carpets to the world was what he knew and brought him joy. A storyteller of note. He shared stories of his youth and 20s with glee. Brew, he would say, you Oaks have no idea. O's like the Willie Futron bomb and the Mandel brothers would make your mother turn in her grave. Those Oaks could charge. Sharing stories of surfing, narcotics, motorbikes, and chicks, like he had lived in the endless summer with his chums who he loved like brothers. Surfing legend has it that he surfed supers when it was bigger than any wave we could possibly have seen today, with 30 minutes sleep, a bong, no leash, and a pair of boardies. Pete didn't understand the concept of age. He decided to go sports model early, as he believed he'd never aged. Sony and Pete brought two gorgeous girls into the world and shared their love of the ocean and St. Francis with them. Lizzie and Georgie quickly adapted to surfing and became the Groms Dad always wanted. Sony kept Pete young and agile, flying airplanes and cycling adventures, to name a few. There are so many of you here today that meant the world to him. His Sardinia Bay golf group, the Sundowner boys and girls, tennis, paddle. He loved the camaraderie and the comp. I will leave you with one of our chats and hope it resonates. So this is usually on a Monday morning. Stratty, how are you, brew? Peaches, all good. Brother, it's Monday, and I'm already looking forward to the weekend. You know then. Brew, the Syringe, Marsh, True Story were on fire this weekend. Charging, no off button. You know then. Tennis tonight, paddle Tuesday, golf Wednesday. Brew, life is tough. Salubrious. You know then. I love you, Pete.
It's a hard thing to do, to say these words. Next up, it's Tertia. I think he used to run away and go and play golf, yeah? Hide. He ran away from me. But I think we're going to call up the whole staff because we would like to honor you as well. You can just come and stand either side of Tertia.
It's truly humbling and heartwarming to see everyone together, with our hearts full, but our shoulders heavy, to celebrate and honor a man whose persona was larger than life itself. A man that touched each one of us, that strengthened, nurtured, and supported us in ways that will always remain with us. Peter was not just a leader, he was a force of nature, something only few dared reckon with and still fell short. As the creator of many storms, as he was wont to do, he remained a calm mind, the supportive shoulder, and the steadfast comfort in any situation. One of the best aspects of Pete was the love and devotion that he held for family. A devoted husband and father, he loved and cherished his girls, Ellie, Lizzie, Georgie, carrying them with unwavering commitment and profound love. As a friend, Peter was the most loyal you'd ever come across, one that was always kind, even if he had to be cruel. But he was the one that showed up and stayed through the best and the worst, though not always the most patient, but a rock who needed him always. With a spirit that never waned, an unfaltering determination, and tireless dedication, he built up not only a company through Belgrove and Snell, but he forged a family that was united by the values created through his hard work and perseverance. Values that will continue to carry his legacy with the honor and pride it most deserves. We will miss him dearly. He left a massive gaping hole in all our lives. His kindness, that huge roaring laugh that carried across the room, his steady and assuring presence, but even more so, the grounding he provided, even when life was at its most uncertain. His love remains with each of us, woven into the activities we carry through our daily lives. He lives on in every memory, every lesson, every moment of warmth he gave freely, never once expecting a single thing back. May we carry his gentleness forward so that we may find him in the crashing of the ocean waves, the clear, deep blue skies he once soared through, and in the still, peaceful quiet of all the places he loved. May his spirit stay close, comforting us just as he always did. Pete, your flight here is now complete. You have soared into the open, peaceful skies. Rest now, for your journey continues into the calm and endless light that you, of everyone, are so much deserving of. We love you.
Thank you, Tertia. And thank you to everybody from Belgrove and Snell. I'd like to call up Georgie, Lizzie, and Ali together. We're going to start with Georgie, and let's hold her very, very tight.
Peter Bain, Dad, Reet Man, or Peter effing Bain. Take ownership of a legend and a half. Words cannot describe how lucky I am to have had 16 years as you as my father. Though I do not remember much from my first few years of living, but what I do recall is my dad being a gentle, kind, and insanely funny father who made me who I am today. As you know, my father grew up in PE and spent his long and short holidays in the humble town of St. Francis Bay. My father was a serving fanatic whose hair became bleached by the sun and therefore known as the White Rat. His surfing career started when his own father saw him desperately trying to catch a wave on a blow-up lilo. So John Bain, his father, spent hours carving a 9-foot-long board with a huge fin that would get stuck on the rocks during low tide at Hewlett's. But Dad never complained. He spent years on that board, well, until shortboarding became popular. My father had lived many lives and achieved many accomplishments. During his years at school in St. Andrews, my father became a very skilled and brilliant hockey player, and he got his school colours, which he proudly wore on his blazer. Peter Bain was a part of the Springboard Diving Club. He also became a part of the Sixers Club, but he never told me why. After school, my father joined the Navy, where his love for deep-sea diving grew. My father told me many stories of his days in the Navy. My favorite one was when he stole delicious steak from the chef. His theft then led him to being punished severely by a broomstick. I had the great privilege of my father driving me to Woodridge so I could start my 21-day journey. At the time, it didn't seem like much, but in hindsight, it was the best thing I could have ever done. My father could walk into a room and immediately start a conversation with anyone. This is something I admired. My father achieved so much in his life and yet stayed incredibly humble. Stories like I beat springbuck surfers or I had to retrieve dead bodies from sunken ships in the Navy rarely came up. And when they did, Lizzie and I would look at him in awe, as these were remarkable achievements, but to him, just part of his life. But stories that did came up was how he saved spiders from getting squashed, or that he saw a stingray while body surfing. I remember how he used to wake me up at the crack of dawn, throw the wetsuit on me and order me to put it on as we were going wakeboarding. Those Saturday mornings were my favorite. No matter how many times I failed to jump the wake or lose a ski, he would tell me to breathe and let me have another go. Seeing you in the hospital in that terrible state and the inability to speak, you still stayed so happy and brave. Though I couldn't hear you, your twinkling blue eyes and cheeky grin said more than 1,000 words. Even after your big blue eyes closed, you still had that beautiful cheeky grin. My heart is heart sore that I'll never hear your booming laugh or your comforting words. I'll never feel your tight hugs after spending weeks at boarding school. Something that has given me great comfort is knowing my father had such a well-respected legacy. He truly paved a path for me, and I've never been more proud in my life to be called a Bain.
I don't think anyone or anything can prepare you for this day, because how can you summarize a person's life, energy, and achievements into a single tribute when they still feel so alive and present? Feels like you're on a brief weekend away on an all-boys tennis trip or spending the afternoon at St. Francis Bay Golf Club, and we will only see you later. For someone who has achieved so much in his life, we can say that my late father had many goals and aspirations, which he managed to accomplish and enjoy. To name a few, building up a successful business, becoming a Navy diver, passing matric just barely at St. Andrews College, although he used to tell us his membership in the Sixers Club was his most prestigious honor, which he got for smoking cigarettes in the hostel and bunking out past lights out. He got his PPL, he flew across the continent, and he got arrested in the process. But I would vouch that the duty carried with the most amount of pride and honor, and the job he did the most successfully, was being our dad. My dad's unspoken goal, upon contemplation, seemed to be to die as young as possible, as late as possible. Now, I realize that sounds morbid, but I think it really encapsulates my dad's spirit. I realized soon in life that he was older than the other kids' dads at school, which used to really upset me, as I couldn't shake the feeling that my dad was not going to be around in my life as much as everybody else's. But now that you're really gone, Dad, I spend every day feeling happy and grateful that I got to be in your life and for the wonderful 20 years that you gave me. Sometimes I feel very sad and very angry that you're no longer here. I've been crying a lot, which is not very unusual knowing me, but something that I only saw you do out of pride or happiness. Like when I picked you up from the Cape Town airport just a week before, and we spotted each other from all the way across the parking lot. And of course, we burst into tears because we were just that happy to be with each other again. You cried after each production I was involved in, playing roles that ranged from the lead to chorus member, just because you were proud of me. And I knew it because my eyes would be glued to yours the whole time I was on stage. And when I looked at you, how could I be scared? How could I not perform my absolute best? You cried every year on your birthday or Father's Day, when we'd either give you some homemade card, or in the later years while I was away at boarding school, I'd have to get creative by making you a video or a montage or some scripted little scene, something to remind you just how much you were loved. You'd also cry from laughter when something funny or not so funny would happen. But you could make any stale joke hilarious with that booming cry that I'm sure everybody in this room knows all too well. You wouldn't ever admit to it, Dad, but you were a crier the same as me. And even through teary, blurry eyes, you loved life to the fullest and always saw the color. Even through the scariest possible situations, your composure didn't falter, not even once. The thatched roofing in St. Francis has always been the most perfect home for huge rain and baboon spiders the size of my hand. And like most normal people, my sister, my mother, and I are absolutely horrified by them, as they always manage to land up hiding in the shower drains or our closed-toe shoes, or more terrifyingly, our bed sheets. But we've always had you to call out whenever they pop up. This is their house too, and they're good because they chow the mozzies. These big boys are much more scared of you than you are of them, my girl. You take off your shirt, you gently let them crawl onto the fabric, and you'd let them off in the garden, but not before pretending to throw them onto us, which would send us into hysterics. That is just your nature, kind, gentle, fearless. Next time I see a spider as big as my hand, I'll pick him up and take him outside, set him free, and I'll think of you. There are things to be wary of out there, but spiders are not one of them. And even if you were feeling nervous or scared, you always had on a very brave face. I must tell you about this, but I'd been nominated for some award in PE in the beginning of my grade 8 year. And because I had the coolest dad in the whole world, he flew down to Grahamstown that Friday to come pick me up. The weather was a perfect day that morning, but as we took off heading home, the skies darkened and the small drops of precipitation from the clouds wetting our windscreen had turned into huge droplets, which were seeping through the cracks in the doors, and the storm outside had now worked its way inside the cockpit. The wind and the rain were intense enough, but watching the crackling thunder and lightning crush down to the left of our plane onto the ground below, where my father was flying so low as to try avoid the thunderclouds, that we could distinctively see the windscreen wipers going full speed on the cars below, which set a panic within me. Drenched and terrified, I looked over to my dad, who seemed unfazed and unaffected, like he'd done this a million times before. I said, Dad, is this all normal? This is all safe, right? He said, without hesitation, over the sound of crashing thunder while the wind shoved the plane from left to right, don't be a bloody wuss now. It's just a little bit of rain. I've done this 100 times before. And then he took off his glasses and asked me to wipe the rainwater off the lenses. I can't blimmin' see with all the shit in my eyes. I said, but Dad, what about the lightning? And he said, well, the plane's got a special little conductor stick that pops out in these type of storms, which would protect us totally. Well, that was good enough for me, and I was immediately at peace. How could you not have ever been with Peter Bain at the wheel? He landed us safely and smoothly as always. That was an absolute pure landing, eh, my Liz? And as we were driving home, I said, wow, Dad, that was pretty cool. He laughs and goes, Liz, that was some scary shit. I was totally crapping myself. So I go, but hang on, you said you were fine. Fine? Look at you. You look like you were strapped to the bloody wing out there. We were not fine. Did you not see the lightning striking right next to us? But what about the lightning stick, Dad? He laughs again and gave me a confused look. What the fuck is a lightning stick? In your final days in that horrible ICU ward, where the reality of your situation sat in, that's when I saw you scared and sad for the first time in my life. You were so thirsty and dehydrated that no tears fell down your cheek. But your beautiful baby blue eyes were crying. Our arrival would bring you joy, but it was so soon. It's so soon. But it was so soon after you would get emotional, and the pain of your aching body seemed to pale in comparison to that of your heart. Dad, you are now free from that ward and the pain and the fear. You're no longer stuck in that body that was so good to you for almost 70 years. I told you I would see you every night in the Southern Cross. And I do. I was a very young girl when we sat outside on the deck overlooking Ann Avenue in Hewlett's Reef, and you taught me all about the star constellations. Something taught to you by your father, John Bain, and as a method of navigation by the Navy Force. We would sit and chat for hours as you'd quiz me on the different configurations, most notably the Southern Cross. This is something we did for many years afterwards. And if I was away at Kingswood or Stellenbosch and I was missing my dad, I would look up to the stars at the Southern Cross, and I know you somewhere out there, thinking of me too. Your music taste rubbed off on Georgie and I quite a bit, and legends such as Jim Croce, America, and most frequently, Crosby, Stills, and Nash were regular features in our time together, notably their song, The Southern Cross, which we knew all the words to. We listened to it together one last time, one AirPod each, in the ICU. And just before you close your eyes, for the last time, we all sung it together, and you mouthed every word. I love you so much, Dad, but I know you knew that. Everybody who knows me and everybody who will know me will know you, because legends like you never die. Thank you.
Georgie and Lizzie, it was very beautiful and very hard. And now, for the love of Peter's life, Ali.
Thanks, Hans. Just as his forefather, Andrew Geddes Bain, was aptly described, a powerfully built, fearless man with twinkling blue eyes and a wicked, shrewd sense of humor. Such lovely genes to inherit. Peter was born in 1956 to John and Patricia Bain. John was a keen fisherman, obtaining many world records at the time. Patricia was a kind, gentle woman who loved her golf and played at Humewood, our home course. Schooled at St. George's, then St. Andrew's College, Pete then did his stint in the Navy in Simonstown, which he fondly remembers. He returned to PE and was taught the building trade, working for Murray and Stewart. Over the years, he learned valuable lessons and gained extensive knowledge. He must have been the longest known bachelor in PE, but by 46, when he met me, it was time to settle down. Our love story started almost instantly the night our dear friend Mauro introduced us. What a matchmaker you are, Mauro. I'll never forget, after knowing Peter for just a few days, he answered a call from one of his friends asking him where the hell he's disappeared to. And he responded in front of me, I'm with the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. Meeting me and my crazy family, my 5 older sisters, aunts, uncles, and beloved parents, I'm sure that is exactly what he needed in his life. Our 2 beautiful children grew up in our loving home with a very strict mommy and a kind, caring, fun dad, and a bunch of crazy but loving aunts to switch things up a bit. He taught us all how to water ski and wakeboard, and the girls to surf. He loved the ocean and was known as a fearless surfer, taking waves 8 to 10 foot while everyone looked on the beach quivering in fear. Peter's interests were wide and varied, and he excelled in all of them. He was a star tennis player known as Pistol Pete, with the meanest forehand in town. Cycling was also a big part of our lives, and we enjoyed all our stage rides with our special friends. You know who you are. But even our rides around the town of St. Francis was always so special, just him and I. How I will miss that whir of the e-bike just behind me. He, of course, played golf and played every Wednesday with his boys at Sards, his home course in Francis Bay, where he regularly hit oncoming cars or buildings down the long 15th hole next to St. Francis Drive. Hey, Pete. At least we are all safe from that now. As you know, we are we were avid aviators and have had many flying adventures. Passing his PPL was a bit of a challenge, failing navigation a good few times. Thank heavens for Garmin and me, his star navigator. I remember flying to Bushman's Kloof in the Cedarburg, and we had a total failure of our GPS halfway. Well, out came the maps and the compass, old school style, and we got there safely. He mastered the art of tail dragging in his very first Whisper motor glider. We had some lovely bumpy trips in her, but space became an issue as the baggage compartment was so tiny we could barely pack a toothbrush and a change of underwear for an 8-day trip. Various planes followed after that, and he encouraged me to get my wings. We made a great team in the cockpit. Flying was Peter's absolute passion. He would plan our trips meticulously. He was such a good pilot and made us all feel safe and secure. He did threaten to open the back door a few times and throw the kids out at 7,500 feet, as their constant bickering and kicking each other used to rock the plane violently. Thankfully, they believed him and would behave. Thanks to our amazing flying friends, most of you here today, for inviting us on all these amazing adventures. We got to see our land through different eyes. Oh, how exciting it was to climb into the plane and escape to beautiful destinations. Peter was an excellent businessman who was revered and respected in the building industry. He would command the room in a humble yet confident way. His vast knowledge in the industry had contractors and clients eating out of his hand. He had a great philosophy, which is never put off for tomorrow, what you can do today. I think we can all take a leaf out of that book. The backbone and success of Belgrove and Snell is our special men whom I honor and admire. Laying floors is back-breaking work, yet you are always so happy and gracious to our clients with big smiles and cheeky grins. I know you guys would do anything for Peter. Your loyalty and hard work filters through, and I'm grateful you are here today. Tush, what can I say? You are Peter's right-hand man. You are everything a boss would want in his business. I know you loved him like a brother. We spoke about you so often and treasure your commitment and loyalty. Thank you for running the business like clockwork for the last 14 years. You are worth your weight in gold. To my children, Daddy was so proud of you girls. His eyes would sparkle when speaking about you. To Lizzie, our eldest, what a treasure. Daddy's little blue-eyed girl who grew and grew and grew. And will you please stop growing now? You two had an amazing bond. He respected your opinion so much and was always interested in your latest crazy stories. Thank you, Sherwin. Ben, it is so special to have you in our lives. Although I think we are a bit of a whirlwind family, I know Pete really loved you. He said to me the other day, "Isn't it lovely that Lizzie has chosen this gentle giant who is her stability and strength?" Kerry, thank you for looking after Lizzie when all this happened. I couldn't have wished for a more capable and loving family for her to have come to before she flew home on that dreadful Sunday. Lizzie, you have always challenged us in every way. Your knowledge about local and international happenings in the world and your strong opinions on some matters exhausts us. Please don't bring up AI or Trump with this one. You will be here forever. But it shows your hunger for debate and change. We love your spirit. Never stop challenging the world and all the things wrong with it. To our Georgie, our precious gift, decided between towering rocks in the Bavion's Kloof. I said to Peter, I feel like there's someone missing from my table. He said to me, "Of course, my darling. Your gentle and caring nature is a great gift. I love our quiet times together and your view on life. Daddy loved spending time with you, and you and him are kindred spirits, kind and caring, with an excellent sense of humor, and always keen to have a laugh at something. You have just completed the most incredible accomplishment of the Woodridge Way, 21 days, 400 kilometers through the Bavianes Kloof. Reports back from your leaders always affirmed us that your spirit and tenacity was noted. You had deep, meaningful conversations with your friends and your leaders. You are just like your daddy, making connections wherever you go and flying the family flag high. To my darling Pete, we have shared incredible experiences together. You have allowed me to fulfill my potential. You are my North Star, and I will search for you every night. My mind cannot comprehend that I will never hear you say, "Hello, my darling," when you come home, or your booming laugh, or your gentle touch as we drift off to dreamland. Being with you in ICU for those long days and nights, trapped in that body that had been especially made for you to deal with all your crazy activities. So strong, resilient, and capable. It seemed so wrong. It was heartbreaking. Your disbelief at what had happened to you shook me to the core. I would lift your arm up gently and show you your hands. Your final words to me was, "I will find you in heaven." Until that day, my love, I will honor you and look after your girls as you asked me to, and make sure we continue the legacy of finding joy in life, embracing new adventures, taking chances, forgiveness, kindness, and love. That is my promise to you.
What courage, all three of you. Before we finish, I'd just like to say when I am finished, if you would, we're going to play some music. If you just remain seated, and then Ali and Georgie and Lizzie and Howard and the immediate family will leave first, and then after that, everyone else can leave. I'd like to end off with this poem. It was penned by John Gillespie McGee Jr. He was a World War II American Royal Canadian Air Force pilot and a war poet. It was written in 1941 when he was only 19 years old. And it's called High Flight. Oh, I have slipped the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you've not dreamed of. I've wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through the footless halls of air. Up the long delirious burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, where never lark nor eagle flew. And while with silent lifting mind I've trod the high untrespassed sanctity of space, I've put out my hand and touched the face of God. To close off, let's have a moment of stillness for Peter Bain, for Peaches, the legend that he is and will always be. And in the words of Pink Floyd, shine on, you crazy diamond. Thank you.
The whispers in the morning of lovers sleeping tight are rolling by like thunder now as I look in your eyes. I hold on to your body and feel each move you make. Your voice is warm and tender, a love that I could not forsake, 'cause I am your lady and you are my man. Whenever you reach for me, I'll do all that I can. Lost is how I'm feeling, lying in your arms, when the world outside's too much to take. That all ends when I'm with you.